What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. And with this video, we are jumping into DC vs. Vampires. This will be issue number 3. And if you have not been keeping up with this line, go ahead, check out the link in my description, as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on with this line. And so far, what we have seen is Green Lantern Hal Jordan being taken over as a vampire. With him being the inside man for the vampires, he is slowly trying to take out the Justice League one at a time. And we saw in the last issue, using his vampire compulsion, he took out Barry Allen, being the biggest threat because his hunger would be unquenchable. And we'll talk more about Barry Allen at the end of this issue. And with Batman going into the investigation of the disappearance of Andrew Bennett, it takes him down into the sewers beneath the Hall of Justice. And so with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into issue number 3, we are picking up with the Justice League staring at the dead body of Barry Allen. And right now, the Justice League, they are faced with only questions. How could this be possible? Who could have possibly killed the Flash? With no one understanding why he is here. No one understanding what could have brought Barry Allen to this place. Hal Jordan is the one spearheading all of these questions. Now we know he is the murderer. He is the one that stopped Barry Allen from doing anything, using his vampire hypnosis, compelling him to not move. He was able to take down Barry Allen. And now he is doing everything he can to try to cover his tracks. And of course, Batman, he has some theories. But right now, he is not willing to share those theories with anybody, believing that anybody could possibly be an infiltrator. They could be a traitor. And so until he has his suspicions completely verified, he is not going to come forward with any information. And so we see Hal Jordan telling everyone which directions they need to go in, how to start searching, checking out the Flash's rogue list, seeing if any of them might have possibly been responsible for what has happened. And this is where the story takes us to Ratcatcher. And right now, Ratcatcher is dealing with a vampire, because the vampire, they have been hunting down the criminal underlords all over the city. Any criminal that has any kind of name to them, they have been doing their best to turn them or take them off the field completely. By starting with all of the villains, this is how they plan to take down all of society. Lucky for Ratcatcher, we have Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl, coming in to save the day. Not really sure what Ratcatcher is up to. This is until she realizes that this guy that Ratcatcher is actually fighting is a freaking vampire. Going in to take a bite out of her, she is very quick to knock this vampire right on his butt. And we see the two of them start battling it out, with Batgirl getting some great hits in, but at the end of the day, she ends up getting overpowered, and she is luckily saved by Nightwing. And so at least for the time being, we know that Babs and Dick, they are both still regular human beings and they haven't been turned yet. But they are now learning that there are gangs of vampires going out and taking criminals down. Our story taking us down underneath the Hall of Justice, down into the sewer system. We have Janiyah and Batman. And our Wonder Twin, she has been looking for her missing brother for quite some time now, not knowing where he has been, not knowing where he disappeared to. She followed Batman down here, believing that he has some kind of lead on where her brother is. And she knows that he is looking for Zane down here. What Batman does know is that a vampire by the name of Andrew Bennett came looking for his help. And around the same time he went missing, the Wonder Twin did as well. Not only that, he found 2 sets of trace DNA in the Hall's infirmary, appearing to have someone clean all of this up. One set of those was vampire. The other one, it was alien. And so what Batman is really telling us is that the Wonder Twin, he is more than likely dead, and whatever remains of him is gotta be somewhere down in the sewers. And so as they begin their search for the Wonder Twin brother, we're picking up with Penguin running for his life. And that is because vampires are hot on his tail. And as he tries to make his escape, this is when he runs into Zatanna, letting her know that he is being chased by vampires. The vampires let her know that they have no problem with her, they have no beef with her, that Penguin was known to talk to Lex Luthor. Now Lex Luthor, he claimed to have a cure for vampirism. Something to do with his blood which he gave to Batman, ensured it made it to him prior to his death. Now what we quickly learn is Zatanna, she is in fact a vampire herself. Penguin completely unaware of this, but this is where the Penguin gets slaughtered. And so as the criminals of the underworld, they begin to fall one by one, we pick up at where Barry Allen had died. Sitting on that shoreline, we have Wonder Woman and Hal Jordan. And Hal Jordan is coming in, he's trying to do his best to have a conversation with her, to try to see if she is okay and make sure that this grief isn't hitting her too hard. But as they have this conversation, Wonder Woman is picking up on really small subtleties, such as Hal Jordan quickly getting used to referring to him in the past tense. And Wonder Woman, she's been finding it very difficult to even refer to him in that, accidentally referring to him as if he is still alive this entire time. Now Hal Jordan, he goes in to try to recover himself, to try to make himself look less suspicious, but this does not work. Wonder Woman is onto him. In a matter of seconds, she has her lasso out and wrapped around him. With him being compelled to tell the truth, Hal Jordan lets her know that she doesn't need a lasso. He will openly admit that he is a vampire, that he killed Barry Allen, letting her know that he had no intention of killing Barry, that in fact he wanted Barry Allen to join him, that he believed he understood power when he got the Green Lantern ring, but now that he is a vampire, he understands a far greater power. Of course, Wonder Woman, she is not willing to join vampirism. She is not willing to join the forces of murderers. But Hal Jordan, he is not concerned in the slightest bit, because he uses his vampire compulsion, hypnotizing Wonder Woman, letting her know that even though she is invulnerable, even though she is technically immortal, he wants to show her how great life can be. And we see Hal Jordan slowly go in for the bite, with his fangs going into her skin. It appears that Wonder Woman is now a vampire. Taking us back to the streets of Gotham, this is where we pick up with Canary. Canary going to the crime scene of the Penguin, with him murdered in the alleyway. This is happening all over the city. And in the shadows, there is Damian Wayne. With him coming out, he is very, very suspicious about Canary. Not sure if she is a vampire, she is not sure if he is a vampire, and so the two, they are at a standstill. That is, until the fight breaks out. Neither of them trusting one another, and with the fight commencing, Damian Wayne is obviously getting the upper hand. That is until Canary, she has something in her hand and jabs it into his stomach. That something being a needle so she could draw his blood, because what she needs is proof that he is not a vampire. And with her giving him a swift kick to the face, Damian not only learns that she is not a vampire, she now has a vial of his blood to go back and test it and ensure that Damian is also not infected. Picking back up with Batman, he goes diving into the sewer, looking for any remnants of our Wonder Twin. But coming up to the surface, there is only a piece of him left over, appearing to be nothing more than a fingertip. We see his sister just break down. But with those tears, then comes the anger, demanding to know who did this, demanding to know what Batman knows up to this point. Batman can tell by the finger that it was not cut off with anything metal, that it was done so smoothly, so clean, that it had to be done with light. And following back up with Canary, we see that they are on some beaten off path, a truck stop that looks to be closed down. Walking into the building, she is met by Speedy. And soon after, we see Oliver Queen, aka Green Arrow. And what Canary has been doing this entire time is going out and scouting, trying to figure out who is a vampire and who is not. Now, they had suspicions that Penguin may be a vampire. Obviously, those suspicions have been stomped out because Penguin is now dead, and letting Oliver know that she did run into Damien. And though Damien, he was acting kinda weird, Oliver lets her know, that's not really out of the normal for Damien, because Damien is a weird kid. But they do have vials of his blood and other individuals to test them and see who may be a vampire and who is not. The biggest concern is that the vampires have gotten to Batman, because if Batman has become infected, he would be smart enough to be able to out-trick, outmaneuver, and outplay Oliver Queen every step of the way, and that includes the blood that would be tested from him. And so right now, regardless of anything, they cannot trust anybody that is in the Bat family. Taking us to the Hall of Justice, we have all of our heroes meeting up, with all of them going in different directions, trying to find villains all over the world. It appears that many of their rogue lists, many of their villains and arch nemesis, they have all gone missing. But two individuals walk into the room with some of the most devastating news. The two walking in is Hal Jordan and Diana Prince, with them informing the Justice League that Batman had killed Barry Allen. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Alright, so I know a lot of people haven't been too happy with Hal Jordan being the villain of this story. And I'm not saying I'm unhappy with it, it just doesn't really make sense to me when he is a freaking Green Lantern at the end of the day, and somehow we have vampires getting the jump on him. And then we have him taking down two of the most powerful individuals on the Justice League, Wonder Woman and the Flash. And he's not doing this by any crazy means. He is using vampire compulsion. He is using hypnosis. And I'm not entirely sure if I agree with this. Because the Flash, he's the freaking Flash. He was in the middle of phasing when this was happening. We can only assume that vibrating at a different frequency, at least I would think that vampire compulsion may not actually work. Now, on that, I could be 100% wrong. But then you turn around and you use the same tactic against Wonder Woman, the same person who has gone against Dr. Psycho time and time again. And these guys are so easily killed and so easily turned. It makes it unbelievable. I just don't believe that Wonder Woman would sit there, compelled or not, and just be turned into a vampire. They made that far too easy. And Hal Jordan, he hasn't had to do anything. He barely has had to lift a finger this entire time, and he's already taken down two Justice League members, two of the heavy hitters. I just don't believe it. I enjoy the story. It's a fun story. It's a fun, what if story. But using Hal Jordan as the main catalyst for all of this, I just find very unbelievable. But I do like the idea of Hal Jordan and Wonder Woman walking into the room and saying, you know what? Batman killed Barry Allen. Let's turn the Justice League against Batman. We're not going to be good enough to get the jump on him. We're not going to be good enough to get him in close proximity so that we can compel him and turn him into one. What we are going to have to do is turn everyone against him, confine him, and then we have the opportunity to take down the greatest detective. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.